by you. I'll be your everything, your blue sky. I go to war, fight. Damn right. Even when I've left, I do right.
Welcome back to the Professional Stepdad Show. I am your host, Frank Zavala. Thank you very much for joining me. This is episode 130 of the show. I appreciate each and every one of you for being here today. We are gaining some real traction, almost up to 300 subscribers for the show, and I'm so grateful and blessed for each and every one of you for listening, for sharing, for liking, and for following us on the different platforms that we currently are on. If you don't know what I've been doing lately, I've been kind of going heavy on these YouTube shorts. I've been making these videos that are connected or similar to a lot of the shows that I've done over the past couple of years. And one of the ones that I recently did was called Stop Badmouthing the Bioparent. And man, did I get some good feedback, and I got some really, really shitty feedback from that. A lot of the shitty feedback came from stepdads who are real jaded with their bio dad. And they're real jaded. Apparently the bio dad is just negative Nancy. He won't stop undermining the stepdads. Not only just authority, but progress. A lot of these stepdads don't feel like they can gain real momentum within their blended family because of bio dad, because of the constant, I don't even know, call it pain, griping, bitching, moaning, complaining that they're doing. And it's tough, especially in the first couple of years of being a stepdad. You guys know this, right? I mean, you're trying to find your footing. You're trying to figure out, you're trying to understand boundaries and learn communication with the kids and understand like relationship. And a lot going on. The last thing you really need is the outside influencers really just kind of just raining and pissing on your parade. And a lot of the bio dads and a lot of bio moms do that. Stepmoms deal with this. Stepdads are dealing with this. It's the bio parent that just doesn't want to see you there. Maybe they have nothing against you. Maybe it's just that whole way of thinking, which is, I don't want another man. I don't want another woman raising my kids. These are my family. Like kind of the whole, being real possessive with who, what, when, where, and why that happens within the home that they are no longer fucking even at, which is just, but I made a video called Stop Badmouthing the Bioparent. Here's the reason why. You can't stop the bioparent from talking shit. You can't stop them from undermining your authority. You can't stop them from sabotaging your progress. You cannot stop them from talking shit about you behind your back. There's absolutely nothing you can do to stop a negative bioparent from really just doing everything in their power to bring you down. But what you can do, stepdad, what you can do, stepmom, is you can block out the noise. You have to learn to not allow any negative force, any negativity, period, to come into the four walls of your home. Because at the end of the day, you didn't do anything to break up the relationship between your partner and the individual that they split with. That had nothing to do with you. And sometimes it feels like they want to blame it on us. But remember, it has nothing to do with us. We didn't do that. All we did was come along after the fact. We stepped up after the fact. And because of that, we are looked down on. We are looked at as kind of like a placement holder in their eyes because they don't believe that we're worthy, good enough, value enough, all that other fun stuff. So you can't allow that negativity to come in your home. You just can't. You can't afford it. Here's what you can't afford more than anything. Stop bad-mouthing the bioparents. Stop bad-mouthing them in front of the kids. It doesn't make you look good. It doesn't bring a sense of trust and responsibility, especially as an adult, when you continuously run your mouth about the bioparent. Mainly because you're trying to build and establish relationships with the kids. You're trying to build and establish relationships with your partner. You're trying to build and establish a new standards and a new foundation for your family in this blended life. And the last thing you need is to be constantly throwing gasoline on a fire that that you won't be able to control. You just won't. No matter what you say, you could be as clever as the next guy. You could be so clever with your comebacks to the bio parent that you just feel like, man, you're getting the upper hand. But if you're doing it in front of the kids, you'll never get the upper hand. You cannot stoop down to the level. You just can't. You can't afford it. You can't afford to badmouth the bio parent in front of the kids. You can't afford to badmouth the bio parent to other friends, family members, because you don't know how it's going to get back to them, how it's going to make its way back to the kids. And the last thing you want is you're like I said, you're trying to establish trust, right? You're trying to build this trust within the family. And you can't build trust. You just can't. You can't build trust within the family if everyone is looking at you like you don't have control over what you say. Meaning you have to be the leader. You have to set the standard. And the standard that you're setting within your home, stepdad and stepmom, is I know I didn't do anything to deserve this, and I know it's coming, but I'm not going to reciprocate. I'm not going to return fire. I'm not going to talk shit. I'm not going to badmouth. I'm not going to undermine bio parent, especially in front of the kids as I move forward through this journey, because it will get you nowhere. It will only cause heartache and pain. It will only prolong the relationships that you're trying to build within your home. And look, it's a lot easier said than done. I mean, I could sit here and tell you this all day long, but I went through it. I went through other family members running their mouths behind my back and thinking and saying certain things to people that ended up getting back to me. I know. And I wanted to retaliate. I wanted to fight back. I wanted to be vindictive and angry, and I absolutely did those things. I absolutely wanted my voice heard, and I wanted to kind of get the last say in the argument, because I was under the influence that I was under the impression that everybody wanted me there, right? Like I was some sort of like a superhero that stepped in, which FYI, all step parents are. But remember, you got to establish yourself. You got to build the relationships. You got to set and lay a new foundation. And I did that. I fed into the negativity, and it did me no good. So the advice that I'm giving you today, stepdads and stepmoms, when I tell you to stop badmouthing the bio parent, especially in front of the kids, I'm giving it to you because I went through it. I know now what works and what didn't. And I'm telling you that if I would have just blocked it out and just stayed focused on building my relationships with the kids, if I would have stayed focused on building the relationship with my partner, if I would have stayed focused on building, a better mindset for myself, so I can, move forward as a leader, mentor, and father. If I would have just stayed focused, what took me 8 years maybe would have only took me 6. Is what I'm trying to say. So I want you to ask yourself this question: are you bad mouthing the bio parent in front of the kids? Here's something crazy. When the kids say something along the lines like this, watch. Let's say your kid comes home, or let's say you're at dinner and they say, well, my dad says that you're a loser, or my dad says you're only here because nobody else wanted you. Something so far out and stupid, but that is said to you. How do you react to it? How do you respond? Do you immediately get angry? Do you go on the defense? Do you immediately start running your mouth about him and what he does and how he did whatever? Or are you strong enough mentally? Are you strong enough mentally to listen to what they have to say, to take it in stride, and just to keep moving? Because listen, if you're doing your work, if you're doing the work that is needed, you know what work I'm talking about. Learning how to communicate, listening, building a good team with you and your partner, letting go of your old self so you can move into this new life. If you're doing those things, eventually what's going to happen is relationships are going to be built, trust is going to be earned, and without you even knowing, the kids are either going to stop listening to it, people are going to stop talking about it, you're going to stop reacting and responding to it because you know who you are. You know why you're there. We all have a why. We know why we stepped up. We know why we're in this blended family. We know the type of men and leaders and fathers that we want to be. And that's all that's ever going to matter. Can we have specific goals for ourselves and for our blended family that will supersede any negative bullshit that wants to always consistently try to make its way into your home. And, and that it all stems from stop bad-mouthing the bio parent. You just have to. You have to stop feeding into that negative energy. And you have to be able to address it, meaning address it like a head nod or, when somebody says like, my dad says you're a loser and you couldn't blah, blah, blah. You can say something like, again, I don't know, but you say something along the lines of, well, that's his opinion. He doesn't really know me, does he? Remember, someone's opinion of you does not have to become your reality. The reality that you create is yours and yours alone. You can be mentally strong. You can be a great father and a leader. You can be a great husband and friend. You can be all those things, no matter what anybody says about you or no matter what anybody thinks about you. And that's the most important lesson that you have to take away from today's episode, which is stop bad-mouthing the bio parent. Stop stooping down to their level. You're better than that. You're bigger than that. You're stronger than that. Mentally, physically, emotionally. And what will happen is everyone will begin to see who they can really trust, who the real leader is, who the real leaders stay calm under pressure. They don't react to stupidity because it's a waste of their energy. They've got bigger fish to fry. And that's how you have to start kind of navigating your way. As you're navigating your way in your blended family, you have to start thinking like that. You have to start doing that. You have to start being that. And you can't when you're constantly just feeding into the negative energy. Remember, all that energy that you're spending on trying to, say something back to dad or say something back to mom, all that negative energy that you're spending on saying things back to the family members and the friends and people that post stuff and comment, all that energy can be used to better yourself, can be used to better your relationships and learning how to communicate. It could be used to strengthening your family so that it's unbreakable when people try to tear it down. That's what your goal is. That is your goal. That is your mission. That is your responsibility. This is the reason why you're there. So be different, be better, do better. And remember that you just cannot afford to spend the energy and the time and effort into addressing stupidity and hatred and pain. Remember, stepdads, stepmoms, that's what that is. It's just pain. They're taking it out on you. It has nothing to do with you. It's their pain. It's the fact that they didn't forgive themselves. They didn't work hard enough. They feel regret and remorse. There's a lot of things that they're dealing with, and until they address it for themselves, you're just going to be, an individual that receives that negative energy from them. Move on. No more bitching, moaning, and crying and complaining about, you got to stop telling, you got to tell Mike to shut his mouth up because the kids are not respecting. Like, none of that bullshit. If the kids aren't respecting, it has nothing to do with Mike. It has nothing to do with bio dad or bio mom. The kids don't respect you. It's because you either haven't put enough time in, you haven't learned to communicate with them, or it's just not that moment in your blended family, in that journey. You're just not there yet. Keep working. Keep moving forward. And stop bad-mouthing the bio parent. It does you no good. All right, guys, that is episode 130 of today's show. Guys, again, I'm blessed, thankful, grateful for each and every one of you for listening, for watching, and for following. I am just so excited about the future, and I hope you are too. Have a great day. Hey, thanks for listening to the show. Listen, if you know a stepdad who is in need of any of this information, do me a favor right now. Hit that subscribe button and share this episode with them as fast as possible. Did you do it? You did it.
Quiet on the set, please. Thank you, everybody.